Thank you very much, Tracy. Thank you for a lovely evening last night as well. It was an absolute delight. It's very, very nice. This is maybe a bit of shameless promotion. I lobbied Tracy. The headquarters, of course, for Distripress are just down the street from our office in Zurich, and we were just talking about a couple of things. You remember last year, we threw down a bit of a challenge saying, what can we do at travel retail? What can we do at points of sale around the world? Just a little bit of a quick recap for those who aren't familiar with our brand. Monocle has a global footprint. Of course, we touch all markets around the world, but something sort of a little interesting when you look up at the screen over there. We've expanded a little bit, which I'll show you in a moment, and again in the area of doing pop-ups, but also something very, very interesting in Hong Kong as well. So if we just sort of go through the evolution of our brand. For us, print is still absolutely the driving force, and some of you will see today, if you come over to our little stand just beyond the doors in the back, we've also launched a new franchise. So this gives you sort of a snapshot of where we are as a business in terms of the titles, but also the fact that we're sort of physically present around the world as well. So this is our core magazine. Of course, we do 10 of these a year. What we've been doing on Newsstand, though, is looking at how can we also, of course, hit people with different themes and topics in terms of expanding the franchise, so going beyond the core 10 offer that we have across the year. And this just gives you a little snapshot of that. Some of you have been wonderful in your displays, just looking over on the left, where we, of course, are launching or have launched our newspapers, our seasonal papers, 4 in the summer, and 4 that we also do across the Christmas season. And we've just launched a new title called The Entrepreneurs as well. So a new business title, which is just hitting newsstands this week. Thank you to our friends at 7 Days. I flew out of Zurich yesterday. It was already on newsstand 5 days early, which we're completely happy about because there's no embargoes in it, which is good. We've also done a food and drink spin-off, which came this year. So that gives us 14 titles a year as core magazines. But then also when you add the newspapers, it's some 22 titles now that we're doing across the year. So this engagement of actually bringing people back to the newsstand more often is incredibly important for us. Obviously, books as well. So what we've been looking at and working with a lot of our partners, how do you also build out the portfolio beyond what we're doing on a monthly basis, but also with a series of titles as well. Working currently with our partners here in Berlin at Gestalten, but also launching a completely new imprint. So at Travel Retail, you'll see we've got a new book coming out looking at Belgium. We have a new Marrakesh guide. And then with the run-up to the Tokyo Olympics, we are launching also a new book, which is going to be a thematic, this one, of course, devoted to Japan. But what I wanted to look at and really focus on, and this is just obviously looking at our world of podcasts and how we've sort of built that area up, but it's really sort of physical retail. And when we were sort of talking last year and sort of the conversation that I was having with Tracy, is we want to improve the experience when people go in and buy print. And how do we deliver a compelling story when they go in? And how are we able to engage them and keep them there? So this is just a snapshot of obviously what we've done in the past. You can see a bit of London, our space that is which is in Tokyo as well. Some of you will know Kiosk Cafe in London, and this is really sort of the prototype for where we're sort of going now. How do you have a great environment, of course, an erasing array of magazines, also print on demand, so you can go in, and of course we can print titles from pretty much anywhere in the world, and then of course being able to deliver a great coffee and even a good glass of wine. So this was something which was a bit of a test. It took us a little bit of time. We own and operate it ourselves. But enough people, I think, from a lot of the major, of course, distribution companies and retailers have been looking at it, and that sort of prompted us to look at a new concept, which I want to show you in a moment. This is, if you're ever looking for Tracy when she's in Zurich and she's not, I'm just giving away your little place where you do your work, but this is our space on Dufourstrasse in Zurich. I'm lobbying for next year that we do it in Zurich, actually. Why not? Because it's so inexpensive to do things in Switzerland. this is just showing you a little example of what we're doing with pop-ups as well. But for us, partly off the back of last year, this is also just what we've done in Milan, we, I think, sort of triggered something in Rome, got a discussion going with the people from Brûlé and Lagardère, and they had the opportunity to do a new newsstand at Hong Kong Airport. And in the discussion with Hong Kong Airport, they said, we really want to push you to do something different. And this is it. So it just sort of feels fantastic that something happened in Rome. So this is now a 200 square meter space at Gate 63. This is just beside where the Cathay Pacific Lounge is. And it is a traditional bookstore newsstand on many levels, also incorporating our products as well. But I think what we talked about last year is we were showing some slides saying, why can't, when we look at the kiosk in the newsstand, why can't it be in league with a luxury goods company? Because, of course, you go through Hong Kong Airport, it's Chanel, it's Rolex, it's Hermes, it's Louis Vuitton. The state of travel retail has really increased to such a level that oftentimes we look at the experience of buying a book or a magazine or going for a newspaper, it is quite low. So here, we're not working with algorithms, we're working with our own editors to really bring out the best in whether it's new fiction, whether it's pictorial, and whether it's travel books. And then at the same time within the space, as well, of course, a great vehicle to promote our own things. But this is something we're now looking at doing around the world. Hong Kong has been open for 3 weeks with great success, despite the protests and everything that we know which is going on there. But we're very, very happy with it. But what we want to see is the ability to be able to roll these out in a variety of other places. And the amazing thing about the first feedback is people love the level of focus that we've had within that environment. So we want to throw the gauntlet down a little bit. We'd love to have a conversation with everybody. We want to create an environment where people can find amazing things to read. Of course, engage in great journalism, listening to Mr. Mir beforehand. How can people pass through Hong Kong? How can they get a hold of titles they couldn't find in other markets? So we're going to be in the back. We're around. Tracy's got me on a very tight leash. And we look forward to seeing all of you at our event at Die Stue this evening as well. But Tracy, thanks very much for the opportunity. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.